people hear the word vegan, many think of a modern lifestyle that's driven by health trends, environmental concerns, or animal welfare. Yet across Africa, generations have long prepared meals centered on indigenous grains, legumes, vegetables, wild greens, and seasonal produce, with meat often reserved for special occasions rather than everyday consumption. So, as diets have become increasingly influenced by processed foods and changing lifestyles, we're overlooking the value of our own culinary heritage, I assume. Could this be the case? Could reconnecting with traditional plant-based cooking not only improve our health but also help preserve the indigenous knowledge? Let's have this conversation. On the line with me, I've got Chef Sue, the founder of The Vegan Chef. Welcome to the program. A pleasure to talk to you.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me.
It is so wonderful to connect with you after such a while, Chef Sue. Let's talk about perhaps you and the inspiration behind you establishing The Vegan Chef. Tell us the story.
Yeah, so it's actually been an amazing journey. I actually started the Vegan Chef 7 years ago. I went, at least not, yeah, 7 years ago, but 9 years ago, I went vegan. And there wasn't much to eat, and it was such a struggle. I did the Veganuary challenge. So just to take a step back, the Veganuary challenge is a non-profit in the UK. It's basically just to sign up for the month of January and go vegan. And when you eat the cake and you have the drinks in December and you just want to reset in January. So that was something I was like, I have to do this to feel a bit better. And then when I, researched into the wellness and health and animal welfare and all the goods, and after that month of doing Veganuary, I felt so fantastic. My skin was glowing. I had so much of energy. And then I said, no, this is the way forward. And then, yeah, we started in a food cart, just to show people what I was eating and what I was feeding my family at home. Yeah, the food cart didn't last too long. We were in the
Mm-hmm.
car park in Burger King behind in Rivonia Road.
Mm.
We obviously got kicked out. That's a true story. And yeah, Burger King was paying substantial rent, and obviously I was paying very little in the car park.
Mm.
And
Mm.
yeah, we had lines. We had lines. People were curious. They wanted to see what the Vegan Chef was about. And when they tried the food, they were hooked. So then we moved to a digital space, and then we've opened some stores. We've got a manufacturing facility in Midrand. We also host events, plant-based events that are cool and really amazing to attend. And we're all about sustainability,
Mm.
really taking it back.
Right. That's such a beautiful story. And also, I like that you took us back to Veganuary, because that was quite a thing, especially for people that were on social media that wanted to try out, the movement and join the movement of veganism, whether it was just for that month or to then progress long term, which is what you ended up doing. And it inspired all the businesses and business ideas that you've started. But let's talk about your approach to veganism through the Vegan Chef. Because we also want to perhaps explore, or I'd like us to explore, veganism and culinary heritage. And Veganuary became such a beautiful vehicle for people all over the world to be able to customize veganism according to where they are. So how is your approach to veganism and culinary heritage here in South Africa?
Yeah, we have such beautiful grains and vegetables, seeds, nuts, lentils, such amazing things in South Africa. And it's really sad that, Western culture has changed things because, if you look at South African diet, if we look back at it, it was, meat was a celebration. It was an occasional thing. We ate a lot of grains, beans, vegetables, and we need to go back to that.
Hmm.
We need to really celebrate the earth, what it's providing. And, if we look at how Africans are, in terms of health issues, we're really not doing great, right? diabetes, cholesterol, high blood pressure, cancer. Cancer's been huge. Everybody, even young people are getting cancer.
Mm.
And, we need to really focus on eating foods that are really, really from the ground, that are good for us, and stop focusing so much on protein. The Western sort of, culture of eating a lot of protein, you need a lot of protein in your diet, really looking at fiber.
Mm.
I always encourage people, let's obsess about fiber. Let's obsess about those grains, those lentils, those green vegetables that
Mm.
we can go back to. Eating, rich, flavorful food. Spices, oh my God. I visited Zanzibar not so long ago, and I visited a spice farm. My word, are we spoilt for choice in terms of spices: tamarind, nutmeg, cloves, lemongrass, ginger. It just goes on, the amount of beautiful spices that we can use.
Mm.
And then also, it's become so trendy now. Gluten free. I'm gluten free. I have a diet that doesn't have any gluten in it. But what are we having? What is the best grains for that? It's grains found locally here.
Mm.
Cassava, sorghum, mabella, pearl millets. High in protein, high in fiber. If we look at our breakfast cereals, let's stop having that box cereal. Let's go back to eating those traditional grains in a cereal format.
Mhm.
A beautiful, beautiful cereal made at home. Natural sweetener. Add some natural sweetener to it. Maybe some dates, and you're going to feel great. You're eating from the earth. Also, we've got such good veggies from the ground that we can eat, that's so rich and flavorful. All our greens, berries, our melons, from a fruit perspective,
Mhm.
leaves, mohoro, amaranth, you know, yeah, beans, cowpeas. It just goes on and on.
That sounds so exciting. And I think one of the things that makes your brand so exciting is exactly that. It's how you pay attention to what South Africans really love and bringing that wholesomeness back onto the menu and expanding our palates in that way. On the line with us, Chef Sue, the founder of the Vegan Chef, for this particular segment. Let's take a break and return.
Drivers, this winter, South Africa's roads can change in seconds. One moment it's clear, next, dense fog blinds your view. Don't drive on memory, drive on visibility. If you can't see clearly beyond 50 meters, pull over safely at the nearest truck stop. Stay alert, stay alive, check your surroundings, and inform others. See and be seen. Let's navigate winter roads together. This message is brought to you by the National Department of Transport.
To the woman who carried Africa and the woman carrying it forward. Happy Women's Month, Channel Africa. Fitness and nutrition on the channel.
Welcome back. Chef Sue still joins us on the line, and be looking at her brand, The Vegan Chef, and just some of the wonderful journeys that she's been able to take people on from a culinary perspective, and looking at veganism. Is veganism and plant-based the same thing, Chef?
Not really. So a plant-based diet is very much, eating vegan food,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't really focus on the ethical side of things. Where if you say you vegan, then that would mean you wouldn't use things, from like leather, and it will be also taking care of environment as well as animal welfare.
Okay. So there is a difference.
There is a difference,
Right.
yes. If you
Right.
if you say I'm on a plant-based diet, it's just purely focused on the food.
Okay. Back to your menu at the Vegan Chef. And I think you gave us such a wholesome, idea as to how people can explore the different beautiful foods, the richness of plant-based foods or vegan foods, if you will. But let's look at how your approach is at the Vegan Chef in terms of taking and adapting the traditional recipes. You mentioned the sorghums and the amaranths and all of that are native to South Africa. So how do you take those particular ingredients and then make them more contemporary for the taste buds of today and the lifestyles that we're seeing people exploring at this time?
So at the Vegan Chef, we're a little bit of a different brand. When people think veganism or a plant-based diet, they think some salad, carrots, lettuce, boiled broccoli thrown on a plate. So we really breaking that stigma. We bring in flavor and we bring in amazing food that is high in protein, that you will not miss any meat sort of option. So we have a factory in Midrand where we specialize in making seitan-based products. It's a wheat protein-based product, and it's basically our mock sort of meat replacement that we use. So anything from a zingy burger to southern fried chicken to our curries to a Durban broad beans curry to we've just launched a butter chicken bunny chow. It is just flavor on steroids. We do incorporate some of the whole grains in our gluten-free options like our waffles as well as our brownies. And at home, we really do love a sweet potato brownie with a sorghum-based sort of flour. And it's just really about creating and eating the rainbow. But if you visit our store, you can be somebody that really enjoys the textures and flavors of meat and not miss out a thing. We're always innovating, creating really, really delicious food and pushing the boundaries. As I said, we also host events. And just this weekend, we had a beautiful event at Woodmead where we were called to host a plant-based market with colors and beautiful food and textures and handmade and handcrafted items. Our market that we host once a month is at Design Quarter in Four Ways, and it's on Friday, the 7th of August. So yeah, come through and see what and experience what plant-based really feels like and tastes like. But I always encourage everyone, you can't just say, okay, I'm going 100% on a plant-based diet today, and that's it. It can be a little bit difficult initially. So start with what a day it is. It's Meat-Free Monday today. Start with Monday, doing every Monday is a Meat-Free Monday, and that's also a global initiative. And then, move on from there and just try and incorporate more plants in your diet. Eat the rainbow. The planet is going to thank you as well as your body.
Eat the rainbow. I love that philosophy. I love it. Do you think that the work that you're doing is giving you an opportunity, if I could use that term, for us to perhaps really look at how we can reclaim our own food, and elevate African food and our traditions in this particular context around veganism and sitting around the table together?
Definitely. I think we've gotten so used to just throwing something into the oven and, quick, convenient, grab a takeaway kind of opportunity and, feed ourselves that way and feed our children that way. But with lifestyle changes and, looking at health risks and really wanting to change the way we eat for the planet, because it's important to eat for the planet. And, if we do eat for the planet, it means that we have to be very mindful and eat a lot of plant-based foods. So, yes, I think by hosting these markets and, showcasing recipes, I do recipes very regularly. They call me to showcase at quite a few of the events as well as expos. I really do promote easy plant-based recipes that people can follow. There's so much of knowledge out there. It just starts by taking that little step. Meal prep is an amazing way so that you don't fall behind. On a Sunday, make sure you cut up your veggies. You've got everything to go. Those beans, those lentils, those really beautiful things you want to use, you've got them boiled, ready to go. Portion size them, put them into your freezer bags so that it's quick and convenient. Veggies, cut up your veggies. So it's also making it, we know life is busy. Life is busy. I'm a mom. I know how crazy it can be. I'm an entrepreneur. It's hard. So if we have things ready to go and we start training our kids from now to eat these grains, to eat the beautiful rainbow, incorporate raw veggies into the diet. I mean, my kids always get an element of raw veggies every single day, whether it's peas or carrots.
Right.
And it's just about, adding that variety, and it just becomes second nature.
It sounds absolutely exciting. And I think for those that really want to try out this way of eating, well, here's an opportunity for you. Where can we find, you mentioned that there's a digital platform as well. Where can we actually find the recipes and the delicious food of the vegan chef?
So, yeah, we've got 3 places that you can actually find us. Our anchor store is in Benmore Shopping Mall in Sandton, where you got the full vegan chef experience, from fish cakes to our curries to, southern fried chicken to ribs in a plant-based format,
Wow.
to all the sweets and desserts that you can have. So there's no restrictions. Remember, we also cater for a big element of customers with allergens, egg allergies, dairy allergies. It's become very, very big now. Gluten allergies. So yeah, we cater for a huge customer base at the moment. Vegan, vegetarian, flexitarian, meat-free Monday, all the goods. We've got a digital kitchen in Midrand, and then we've got a store in Durban at the Pearls Mall in Umhlanga. And then we pop up at, you would see us if you attend events, festivals. We do that, and then we also host the market, which the Four Ways Rustic and Gourmet Market, which is about really bringing sustainability to Johannesburg. It's the only night market that promotes sustainability on such a large level. Plant-based diets come through and see the vibrant food that we are serving, all the local and lekker products that are made there, and it really is vibes. So yeah, there's so many elements that you can actually visit and try. We've just released a frozen range, which makes it very, very easy and convenient for you, where everything is air fryer friendly or oven friendly. So there's 3 products that we've just released. So there's a lot of options, but if you can't get to us, the internet's a wonderful place. Technology is great, and just maybe sign up for Veganuary. You can sign up at any particular time in the year, and they'll send you a 30-day free plan with easy recipes from starters to mains to
All right, I think the line has gone flat there, but thank you very much, Chef Sue, the founder of The Vegan Chef. Just be mindful that you should always, always consult with a healthcare professional and seek guidance as you pursue new diets and explore new ideas. It is 9:30. We check in with the latest in sports. Fix is standing by with the latest.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.